Be'ezer Hashem, Parshas Koirach, Tovshin Pei Daled. V'abiteach b'Hashem Chesed Yisuvivenu. Someone that has bitochen, trust in the Rebbeinu Shalom, Chesed will surround the person. So we know that the Swarm explain that a person is zoichet to have Toiv HaNigla if he actually trusts in the Rebbeinu Shalom. The Rebbeinu Shalom showers him with Hatova, with goodness, with kindness, and that's a tzchar, it's as a result of the trusting in the Rebbeinu Shalom. And the Maggid of Mazich said it's b'derech hateva, that a person that has bitochen is going to be zoichet to that chesed yisuvivenu. It's not like a schar, it's just automatic reaction. If a person trusts in the Rebbeinu Shalom, he's surrounded with chesed. Now, we have discussed many times in the past the concept of Tov HaNigla, that people sometimes make the mistake that Tov HaNigla means whatever I want, specifically my rotzon. If I want a specific thing to happen, then if I trust strong enough, then that's going to happen. And we have discussed the mistake that lies with such a mahalach machshava, with a kind of thinking. The main mistake is because if a person is locked into a certain mahalach that I want this and I don't want no for an answer, Rebbeinu Shalom, I don't want to discuss this, there's nothing to discuss, this is what I want, then they're not having bitochen. So it's not about if there's such a shita, if there's a different shita. We first have to have bitochen, then we could talk what's going to happen. And a person that doesn't trust the Rebbeinu Shalom's plan doesn't have bitochen in the first place. Very simple. Trusting means that you're listening to Rebbeinu Shalom and you say, okay, you know better. So I trust you that you're taking me to a better place. Actually, to be more accurate, trusting, the Chavis Avos explains in Perek Rishon, is one of two. Or something that the Rebbeinu Shalom specifically promised, then even though I didn't see it happen, I trust the Rebbeinu Shalom. I know for sure. The Eibusha said he's going to do this, and the Eibusha is going to do this. Like Mashiach is going to come. And any promise that's in the Psukim, I don't have to see it happening. I don't have to know exactly how and when. The Eibusha said, I trust him. That's one zach that a person could be for sure it's going to happen. Or the etzem zach that the Rebbeinu Shalom is going to be mated with me, the Eibusha is going to do good with me, that Eibusha is that I also know, even though I don't know how and in which oifen it's going to happen. But it's also because the pasuk says, Tov Hashem l'kol v'racham v'kol ma'asav. So I could be fully confident that the Eibusha is being now made to me. The Eibusha is going to bring me to a better place. And the Eibusha wants I should be able to feel the good, even though there's a journey to be able to get to it. But I trust the Rebbeinu Shalom's plan, even though I wanted something else. But I know that the Eibusha is doing what's well. Then that's called trusting.
So Vanigla is when you can feel it?
Right. Now, once I trust, which trust is what we just mentioned. I trust the Eibusha's plan. I know the Eibusha is running it, and the Rebbeinu Shalom is doing it for my good, and that's why I leave go. I leave go knowing, because I'm fully trusting. You take care of it. I'll just say another example. If a person has a personal secretary, so the first 6 months, first year, they're constantly reviewing the lose. They're saying, could I see, 1 second, why didn't you pick up your phone call? Why aren't we going to this event? But after a year or two, or whatever, he gets to know him, and he gains trust. I don't have to look at the paper. You just tell me where we go, that's where we go. Why? Because he trusts him. It takes time to build up that trust. Trusting the Rebbeinu Shalom means I'm not mixing into the plan. I know that I want it, but I trust you that your plan is better than mine. The Rebbeinu Shalom's plans is better than your dreams. Hands down. So, I dreamt, I wanted, but I'm trusting in the Rebbeinu Shalom that he knows better and he's doing what's well, and I'm following that path b'simcha. Once I trust, that's when Chesed Yisuvivenu starts. What does it mean, Chesed Yisuvivenu? So we mentioned Tov HaNigla means that you could feel the good. That has a couple of steps. It means a couple of dargas. Number one is what people would want which we could call it Kita Aleph, that whatever I wanted should happen. And it actually happens. It was Baruch Hashem. He had a baby, became a chosen, got a job, became wealthy, and azay weiter. Healthy, azay weiter. Many times, that is the outcome. Baruch Hashem, the Eibusher wants to give Tova Nigle. Many times, that's the explanation of the pasuk Chesed Yisrael. You trusted, and the Eibusher tests you in the middle to see if you're serious about it, or you're just playing a game. Once the Eibusher sees that you're trusting, even if it doesn't go your way, the Eibusher gives it to you. And it comes be'etzem what you originally wanted, the levush, the tzura, that it should look like that. But it's not always the case. Not always the Eibusher gives such a type of Tova Nigla. Why? Because of many reasons. Because it might not be good for you, for your gashmis, for your ruchnias, and many reasons. But Tova Nigla the Eibusher is going to give you, because B'terech B'Shem Chesed Yisrael never has a yotzim and a klal. Doesn't say besides, little star, sometimes not. It's always Chesed Yisrael. So Kita Beis will mean second grade, means that the Rebbeinu Shalom is going to give you a special feeling of closeness with the Rebbeinu Shalom. And beautiful sipuk and atzlocha. Even though it's not exactly what you wanted, but if you trust it and you be'emes let go, the Eibusher reveals himself to you. And the person be'emes feels in cloud 9, the be'emes is happy, the be'emes is excited, and the be'emes is being matzliach. And the person could come to terms with it and could say out of their mouth, the truth is, I think I'm better off that I don't have it. That's the biggest sign. Because the only reason why they were so stuck is because in their mind, they felt that I must have that. But once they left go, and the Rebbeinu Shalom is close to them, and they feel so calm and pure, and they start realizing, I don't need it. I don't need the car, I don't need the house, and they're doing well, and they're excited, and they're being matzliach, bazel, babosha. That's second grade. But let's climb the ladder. Third grade. The Rambam mentions, and we mentioned it earlier, we just want to go weiter, in the previous shurim, the famous Rambam in Hilchos Tshuva, that the biggest schar for a person in this world is if a person is Mekayim Torah mitzvahs. The pasuk says in V'hoyam Shemoya and in B'chukoisai, I'm going to give you food for your behemoths, grass, sati esim sot chalavem techo. And the Rambam asks in Hilchos Tshuva, Perek Tes Halacha Aleph, that why is that a schar? Doesn't make any sense. The reward for 24 hours serving the Rebbeinu Shalom is some grass for the behemoths. It's not in proportion. And the Rambam says, no, you didn't understand the pasuk. The concept is that if you do Torah mitzvahs, I'm going to be taking away all kinds of issues, which the bigger problem of issues is that you get busy with it. That means if there's a leak in the house, that's a smaller problem. That you're busy with the leak is the bigger problem, because you're wasting your life. You called him, he didn't come, he fixed it, but then it broke again, and all that. He charged too much, and you're running after him, and you're fighting with him. You're wasting your life, your energy, your talent, your everything is being on mamish on shtusim. So the pasuk is saying, if you serve the Rebbeinu Shalom, maybe he's going to be taking away issues. Maybe he's going to let you serve him, and be mechadish. Another important Yisoid in Avodas Hashem, another Chiddush, another Yisoid in Torah. That's such a beautiful way to spend your life. So, the pasuk is saying, if you're Mekayim Torah mitzvahs, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to let you utilize your life for important inyanim, which means Torah mitzvahs. The Rambam doesn't necessarily talk about bitochen. The Rambam talks about someone that keeps the Torah. Someone that keeps the Torah is saying, you have behemoths, I'm going to give them what they need. You have a oretz that you have trees that have to grow. It'll grow. You can be able to sit and learn. That's exactly what we want to get to now, right now. That there's a simple, you could learn the Rambam and just say the words, and you could try to learn the Rambam, drop deeper. The Rambam is saying you're going to be able to spend your life serving the Rebbeinu Shalom in a different world. You're not busy with Shtusim, you're busy serving the Rebbeinu Shalom. But sometimes people could understand that the Rambam means that if a person serves Hashem, then challenges are just going to fade away. And I'm just going to be able to sit with a coffee, with a Ramchal, and just learn. I have a child, I have to marry them off. I don't know. It's just going to be taken care of, Baruch Hashem. There's nothing else going on in my life. A stender with a coffee, that's it. Nothing going on. For the last 25 years, it's not the case. The Rambam is saying something deeper, which could help us in any challenging matziv. Any challenging matziv that a person has is really a combination of situations that Hashem is throwing at the person, which the solution for these situations is understanding Torah, understanding which mitzvah I have to be Mekayim now, remembering it, and getting into it, and knowing, okay, right now I'm being Mekayim this mitzvah. That's really what happens to a person when they're thrown, like we called it many times, a tough Tetris board. You know, the tough Tetris board, when the levels go up, two things happen. First of all, the bottom is already 3/4 up. That's how the board starts. And second of all, it's flying so quick. All kinds of shapes, which it feels like within a few seconds, that's it, you're lost. Game over. So a person in life, the Rebbeinu Shem be'emes throws matzavan. All of a sudden you get a phone call, oh, kach v'kach, okay, now what? Financially, chinuch of children, issues b'chlal, going on constantly, and every day the surprises. Now, there are two ways to live your life. One way to live your life is that constantly you're busy taking care of issues. You have your time because you got to learn. You're a Yid, which I do. So you have your 45 minutes, which you learn. Most times you space that about your issues, and you just say, okay, ich hab, and you daven, and then you get busy taking care of issues. Now that's a whole day. Bigger ones, smaller ones, back up, look at old emails. Oh, I never took care of that. Paying bills. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, but you're busy with issues. So you're spending your life, you're wasting it. Zog the Rambam, and this is the next level of Chassidus of Yevena we want to get to. If a person has bitochen of the Rebbeinu Shem, trust the Rebbeinu Shalom, it entails something more than just knowing the Rebbeinu Shem does good. I don't know why, I don't know how, but this is what it is. And I guess I got to do this. So, someone knocks on the door. They need help. The neighbor, well, let's give a better example. The neighbor has an issue with the porch in the middle of the building. Or any type of matzav, the Rebbeinu Shem throws you a matzav, a situation. Now, how do I handle this? A person could say, listen, it's Latov. I wanted to build a porch. He doesn't want to build a porch. Okay? We don't know the Gilgulim. Maybe last Gilgul, I didn't let him build a porch. It is what it is. I'm not getting into a fight now. We're talking about a person that is already up to that target. It's not easy to get there. Next. I don't have it, it's Latoiv. Wow. Person walks into shul, he's a man. Why? Because Be'emes he didn't get stuck in a big fight now. But he's not strong enough. Chaval. He's almost there. It's amazing because to get there is also a big avoider. But the problem is that he could have decided not to fight with the shochan for the right reasons. And instead, many times, he chose kamat the right reasons. That means, practically, I don't want to be in a fight. No, I'm not up to this now. So he tells his family members, it doesn't pay. I promise you. You want to now be busy? with this, and they said, let's be mevate. Rav Steinman said he have never saw someone that was mevate and lost. He puts it on the fridge and next. But really, the Rebbe Shem throws you something that's one of the Taryag mitzvahs. That's what I'm saying. A person that's up to that level was already 90. All we're talking about the difference between 90 and 100, and that's a huge difference. It's a certain part of the Torah that's happening right now. If you categorize it, if you try to figure out what lies behind this matziv, what am I being Mekayim now? Which mitzvahs am I being Mekayim now? What could I learn from this matziv? Then what's happening is that you're not busy with issues. You're busy being Mekayim this mitzvah and that mitzvah. There's a couple on the block that just had a baby, and the neighbor from the Chesed group called you to make supper for them. Now you're overwhelmed. There's so much going on, but what should you do? So you're almost there. It's called a 90. 90 is you made supper, which is amazing because it really makes no sense. But you do a eat, that's a eat. You made supper. If they would know what's going on, they would send you supper. If they would know what's going on. Oh, but you made supper. That's what Yiddish mamas do. But it's almost there because the pshat is, after a day that was jammed with mitzvahs, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of mitzvahs, and many times not simple ones, and the person did it, the person feels washed out, gone, especially women with children. This technical, constantly. And melepnished means you just, how did that, is the name of a book, stop surviving, start living. You're just working on surviving. Constantly on low battery because you can't sleep because of a child. You got to get up early in the morning to send out the children. And you're running constantly so you have no time to live. The Rambam says it's a big chaval. And you're missing that Chesidus Vivenu. Because you're missing a shtickle, that trust. Which means, why don't you chap and slowly train yourself first with one mitzvah and then go second mitzvah, third mitzvah. Try to push weiter. Train yourself that what's happening right now. An example. The Gemara says, how are women zoiche to the schar boidem haba? How do they have boidem haba? So the Gemara beschar that they take their children to cheder and that they wait up late at night for the husbands that are sitting and learning to come home. So the Gro, I think, and maybe other tzaddikim, they explain, of course she's zoiche to boidem haba. Maybe they should be getting before the men. They're working so hard. The question was how they zoiche to Torah. There's a special hechel oven in Himmel for Torah. So they may be kind mitzvahs, Mesiras Nefesh. What's with the Torah? It can't be that they're not part of the schar of Torah itself. Doctor them the Gemara when they're supporting Torah by sending their children out and by waiting for their husbands, and in our sprach, in our language, that would mean letting your husband go to the shul even when it's hectic, and supporting him emotionally. I'm telling you, so good. I'll manage. You go. It's better for both of us. Then there's a Torah also. But now, most times, it's not in the daily routine of thinking. It could be good for a chizik for that neshay one lav malka a year, if you made it. But for the training the thought process, that is it's a big avoid. But what happens is, if a person does do that, then they open up a life. It's like, why? Because instead of doing everything because it happened, you choose, okay, now let me send out the children. Get up in the morning like in the military, it's 6 a.m. You wash Negav. I said, what's the first zach? Let me prepare food for Torah. Let me send out the children to be able to be zeichet I'm excited. It's simcha. And then you start realizing how many mitzvahs, what's going on. There's a fascinating Sfasemis in Parashat Shlach. He says that the Meraglim could have turned their going to Eretz Yisrael to a mitzvah if they would have thought about it the right way. Moshe Rabbeinu sent us. This is what you got to do. This is the achona to be able to go into Eretz Yisrael. Able to help us do it right. Let's check it out. If they would be thinking, I'm doing a mitzvah right now, and we're doing the same zach, but they would be doing it for the mitzvah, then they would have saw something else. They would have had siyata d'shmaya, and they would have came back like Kalev and Yeshua. But if you do the same pu'ula, but you're thinking just about what you want, same exact, then something else is happening. It's two separate zachen that are happening at the same time. There's a very interesting Yetiv Lev in Parshas Vayishlach. He brings from the Baditchev Rov. Yetiv Lev was the grandfather of the Satmar Rov. Yeah. He was a son of the Yismach Moshe, Einikel already, of the Yismach Moshe. That dynasty, Sigid Satma, and he brings from the Kedushas Levi from Baditchev in Parshas Vayishlach. He says that the Gemara says in Masechtas Tainis that Reb Chanina ben Doisa was going outside and it was pouring rain, so he asked the Rebbe Shem the rain should stop, and it stopped. So then the Gemara says, really? His tefillah worked that the rain should stop? Doesn't the Kohen Gadol daven Yom Kippur that you shouldn't listen to such type of tefillah that someone is on the way and it's raining? So the Gemara says, "My ahani, what does it help the tefillah of the Kohen Gadol for Reb Chanina ben Doisa? It doesn't work for Reb Chanina ben Doisa." So the Baditchev Rav said, "And what's Takab Pshat?" So he says something so mamash amazing. He says when two people are walking in the street, one person needs to get to point B. There, point A, they got to get point B. They don't want to go through this whole way from point A to point B, but what should they do? There's a problem, so they just listen to music on the way. They go to sleep on the way. They read the news. Once they got to point B, okay, now it's tachlis. A different person says, 1 second. The Eibishter made it have to get from point A to point B, so the Eibishter made it that I shouldn't be able to be in 1 second at point B. Kanira that I have avodas Hashem to do in between point A and point B. So let me do that avodas Hashem. Maybe I should learn. Maybe I should thank the Rebbein Shlem. Maybe I should think all the good zach the Eibishter does with me. Let me utilize. Let's say a person comes on the way and asks for tzedakah. They say, now I have why I'm not on point B right away, because I had to meet this guy. A person just told me the story, B'di Day Havovda. He says, and now he's an older person. He told me when I was a bocha, there were 3 bochram that used to come to my yeshiva from a different yeshiva to sit, and we should be zach machazik and chassidus and avodas Hashem and singing. And the mashgiach of their yeshiva didn't like it. 3 bochram are going every week. I don't know, it's not good for the yeshiva. He went over to those 3 bochram and he tells them, no more going. You can't go to the other yeshiva. He says, I was a bocha and I was mad. How does that mashgiach have a right to stop those bochram from going? I was young, energetic. I said, okay, I'm going. I stopped in the middle of the yeshiva. I went down. I walked down the street in Yerushalayim. It was. He says it was by Kikar Davidka years ago. And I'm going to that mashgiach of the yeshiva. I'm going to tell him it doesn't make any sense. He's on the way. I saw an older person standing in front of a house, all lost. He's standing in front of his house. He's trying. I went over to him, asked him what's going on. He said, I'll tell you the truth, I lost my key. I don't have a key, I can't get into my house. She says, is there any way I could help him? Is a different key? He says, I'll tell you the truth, I have a daughter that's in the store, has a store all the way down there. I can't go there. She has another key. He said, I'll go there. He goes down to that store. He takes the spare key, goes to the old man, and he tells him, oh, Baruch Hashem, you opened up the door. And as he's saying these things, it doesn't make any sense. I'm going to scream at a mashgiach. I'm a little bocha. I'm going to tell him mashgiach that doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. He goes back to yeshiva. And then he sits there and then he thinks to himself, wow, Hashem just picked me up to take care of that key. He says, he put into my mind to go and take care. But the second I did it, it wasn't needed anymore, the ganze mice. But that's what's so amazing. That's when a person knows, when I'm doing this, stop some halach, there's a shita. There was something I'm supposed to be doing. Now, back to the Yesoid of the Baditcha Verov, a person that just goes just because, he's called Oivrei Dracha. A person that goes and knows that while I'm doing a certain Avodas Hashem, let me do it right, he's called Holchei Dracha. So he says, the tefillah of the Kohen Gadol was, if you look in the tefillah from the Oivrei Drachim, don't listen to them. They're walking in the street technically. Now let it rain. It's important that it rain. If you're a Holchei Drachim, means you're the type of person that's serving the Rebbeinu Shem now, you deserve that the Eibusher should stop the rain. Why? Because you're in the middle of Avodas Hashem. Yeah, stop the rain. He's in the middle of serving the Rebbeinu Shem. There's two types of people, Oivrei Drachim, Holchei Drachim. And he brings many dugmois where we see it. Someone pointed out to me that in Parashat Shlach, by the rest of the Meraglim, it says it says Oivrei Drachim. By Yeshua and Kolev, it says Haholchem. They went because they have a certain Avodas Hashem to do right now. The others went not because I have Avodas Hashem. I'm going anyways. I just wanted to check it out. I'm coming right back. No Avodas Hashem involved. Now this concept is fascinating. When a person could decide to change their own experience of the drachim that they're going through in life. The drachim they're going through. You're going through anyways. If you chap that is Avodas Hashem and every step of the way, and you try to be misboin, and which Avodas Hashem? Maybe right now the Avodas Hashem is not to get in kas. Okay, that's a mitzvah. That's one of the Yisoidish mitzvahs. So now I'm enjoying it. I'm being tested. They make this debate, right? To see how you respond, how you act. The Eibush is making it with me. Let me prepare. Not to get. Now the avoid is not to get in kas. So what's going to happen? Back to the Rambam that we mentioned earlier. What's going to happen if you live like that is that you're going to find yourself in a different world. Doesn't mean the situations change, but you're not solving issues all day. B'chlal not. The issues are there to trigger this posik, that posik, this midah. You know what's happening? The person is climbing a ladder. You have no idea what's happening to the person. But it can happen to him if the person is just busy taking care of it, because what should I do? Because I have to pay the bill. People go to chasanas. What should I do? I got to go to the chasana. It's 3 hours. It's in the other city. I got to go. But what should I do? I got to go. He came to mind. So it is what it is. You constantly, 24 hours, it is what it is. You're going to sleep. What should I do? You're getting up. What should I stay in bed? It doesn't make any sense. The Rambam, not that it is in the Chemda Genuza. There's a sefer from the Enikov and Tzanzerov. He says he has the abbreviated word that Tzanzerov tells him: if you go to sleep, haven't seen him in the shmata more than after. Your body needs it. You become a mitzvah, a real mitzvah. So you're not going to sleep because you just, now we're doing this mitzvah, now we're doing that mitzvah. Every mitzvah has a light. Every mitzvah has an idea. It's not only that's the mitzvah. It has an idea. The person wants something. The idea, let's say a person benches and has a concept behind it. Because the Eibusher wants us to give us toiv, so he wants us to think about it. He wants to be busy with it. Now, it is avoided that a person has to work slowly, because if not, it's just exciting for a few hours. You're on to the next thing. So you have to take one area in your day and try to every single day remember this. Let's expand. But this area, this is the mitzvah that I'm being mekayim. You can take a different area. A person be'emes that in every pu'ula that a person does is many mitzvahs. It's not only one, but start. No, I'm doing this mitzvah and then that mitzvah. So now back to the Rambam. That's a fascinating chassid soyevenu. Because if a person trusts in the Rebbeinu Shalom, that trust doesn't end that it's just latoiv. I don't know, it's latoiv. It's true, but go on to the next grade. The next grade is, I don't know all the cheshbonos, I don't know all the gilgulim, but what I do know is that right now I have an opportunity to be mekayim massive mitzvahs. Even in halacha, it says that in Hilchas Shabbos in Reish Mem Ches, it says a person shouldn't go out on a ship the last 3 days before Shabbos. For Dvar Mitzvah you could. So the Ramah says anything is a Dvar Mitzvah. That's what the Ramah says. The Moshel, if you're going to bring Parnasa, it's a Dvar Mitzvah. And if you have Parnasa, you need more Parnasa, it's also Dvar Mitzvah. Because it's based on, the Gemara says in Sechtas Subis, what's called Eizu Oiset Tzedakah B'Choleis. The Hazon Ishto Ibn Oisav. Now, it's true. The question is if you're connecting to that world. If you're connecting to that world, you're in a life of Simcha.
That's Tovanigla.
That's Emes Tovanigla. Because you look at the person, you'll see it's Tovanigla. Look at that person. It does have the hardship to be able to push through to get there. That's an Emes. Because it doesn't happen automatically that if I'm going to think it, I'm just going to feel it. Because it's like B'tochen. B'tochen always works. That you have to push through. Because if not, you're not trusting. It's like a person saying, I like ice creams. I want to feel good. So a person drinks wine to feel good. A person says, okay, let me think like that I'll feel good. The feeling good is not supposed to become as something that you're taking with just feeling good. It's supposed to come that you're trusting the Rebbeinu Shalom. And you don't want it. But you're saying, but it's a mitzvah. The more you push yourself to remind yourself, this is a mitzvah, and this is opportunity for a mitzvah. And let me try to do it right. The Schar mitzvah is that the Rebbeinu Shalom comes and reveals to you the aura of that mitzvah. It means that when a person thinks which mitzvah it is, and the posik, and they're trying to think, let me have in zin and have in mind, I want to do this mitzvah. That's the keli. That's not the light. That's the keli for the light. Every mitzvah has a certain or. But you zoiche to that or, like we said, so back to the Rambam, which the Rambam explains that a person that does mitzvahs, I'm going to give you schad, you're just going to be able to spend your life. You're going to be able to spend your life until your mitzvahs. It didn't mean that a person said it meant. What you're supposed to go through, you're going to be going through. But you could do it into Mahalcha. You could live in Gan Eden, you could live in Gehenna. It happens to be that the Ramami Pano says that the Gan Eden of the Osed Lovo, he says, Osla Kodesh Baruch Hu Lasas Mochel Tzadikim B'Gan Eden, and everybody's going to stand around and write and show Zeh Hashem Kivin Eloi. The Gemara Soif Tainis. The Ramami Pano brings that Gan Eden is going to be B'Toich Gehenna. As it's an Asora Mamoris. The Bisham brings in a Parshas Vayera, B'Shem Tzadikim, doesn't say it's the Ramami Pano. But I checked it up, the Ramami Pano inside. The Osher Kosh Baruch Hu says Mochel Tzadikim B'Gan Eden, and everybody's going to show this is the Rebbeinu Shalom. That whole thing is in Gehenna. So the idea behind that is that situation around is Gehenna, but there's no reason that you have to be in that Gehenna. You could decide to be in that Gan Eden. Rabban Shechter, when he saw, saying gesund und stark, Rabbi von David Weiss in Monsey, he said, I've never seen such a deep Gehenna of a person that could have their mind fully and not be able to say anything, not be able to express themselves. The mind should be working and not be able to move nothing. And I've never saw a person living in such a Gan Eden in that Gehenna. Never saw. The Gemara Masechtas Brochas, Pinchas ben Yor told the Pshim Bayachoi, Oili sherisicho bekach. And Pshim Bayachoi said, I'm doing well. You're seeing the outside levush. I'm in the inside matziv. So now, sometimes people feel that this whole concept is only by massive Yisurim. It's not only by massive Yisurim, it's any regular issues. Take care, talk to that person, it's not working out. Oh, so now gets a dodi avoida. So now this avoida. So it's a lot of trust. Because it's constantly, our mind is telling us that the reason why it didn't work out is because that person was just neglecting it, careless. You come, the door is locked. I told him we should keep it open. He always does that. So that's called not trusting. once you remember Hashgacha Pratis and it was Letoiv, so you take it to one step, or Shenava, under avoid, like the story of the two holes in the tzitzis. It was the real name of the story is Rebbe Fall from Bersha. They say it on other tzaddikim also. He was working so hard to get a tzitzis from Talis Cotton from Eretz Yisrael, and then finally he got it. So it was just plain the. Now they had to make the hole to put in there, and the Schneider, the person that it was folded again, the tailor, and he made the hole, and then it came out two huge ones, and they just ruined it. And he worked so hard to get it, and he didn't know where to put himself. So the tzaddik told him, "What? It was perfect. I needed two holes. One was to put on my head. The other one was I shouldn't get in kas. So I couldn't have done my tafkid if there was only one hole. It brings out the yesod very good. So I thought that tafkid. I thought it was going to be different. I thought it was going to be tzitzis. Yes, tzitzis would have been one type of or, not becoming in kas. That would make the tzitzis help me below sasu achal vavchem. So now I was mekan below sasu achal vavchem. It's avodas achaim. There's no doubt that it's avoid of a whole life, but it's a roadmap. Pshat is it's a mahalach to understand what's happening with me. What's happening? Now, what's fascinating is that the person doesn't only get the or because they're telling themselves, the be'ema zoiche to feel the or from not getting a kas. Something that's has tova nigla. It's fascinating. That's be'ema dik tova nigla. Now, there's people in our generation, if we watch them and we see what happened when they were in the Sionis, you see that they're living in Gan Eden. They were zeichet to B'teir Hashem, Chetz L'Sevivenu. They were zeichet to this Rambam. Okay, I'm aufstellen da.
You can decide what your biography is.